On the docket tonight, brand new trial starting next week right here on your front row seat to justice. Involves a man accused of murdering his minister. The defendant's name, Brandon Castiglione. The case is out of New Hampshire, and Judge Ashley has the story for us tonight.
We all was stunned, even yesterday when we got the word for the first time. It was devastating.
On Tuesday, October 1st of 2019, 60-year-old Luis Garcia was found shot to death in a Londonderry, New Hampshire home. Garcia was a minister at the New England Pentecostal Church in Pelham, about 20 miles south of Londonderry. He was a father, a stepfather, and a grandfather who had devoted his life to his faith, and he hosted a regular Thursday night prayer gathering. One of his parishioners who frequently attended those Thursday night meetings was Mark Castiglione. On the afternoon Garcia was killed, Castiglione's daughter returned home and found him dead on the floor. He had been shot once in the neck. Now, her brother, Brandon Castiglione, was also in the house praying nearby. Local station WMUR spoke with the bishop of the New England Pentecostal Church about the shooting.
He was trying to help Brandon. Brandon was having some problems mentally, and Louis was there to try to help him out.
Brandon Castiglione was arrested and charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder in the death of Luis Garcia. Prosecutors say they have fingerprint evidence found on a Glock handgun near the crime scene that links Castiglione to Garcia's death. But while Brandon was being held in the Rockingham County Jail, there was a second shooting involving the Castiglione and Garcia families. On October 12th, both families gathered at the New England Pentecostal Church, but for dramatically different reasons. Brandon Castiglione's father, Mark, was getting married there at 10 a.m., and Luis Garcia's funeral was scheduled to begin just 2 hours later at the same church. As the wedding began at 10, shots rang out.
10:12 a.m., the Pelham Police Department received a call for an active shooter at the New England Pentecostal Church.
Bishop Stanley Choate and Mark Castiglione's bride, Claire McMullen, were shot, but both fortunately survived.
A wedding was occurring at the church, and the police officers discovered a suspected shooter being detained and subdued by the guests of the wedding.
Luis Garcia's 37-year-old stepson, Dale Holloway, was arrested and faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of attempted murder. Brandon Castiglione's attorneys are pointing to Dale Holloway as a potential alternative suspect in the death of his stepfather, Luis Garcia. They also claim that Brandon had no ill will towards Garcia. Castiglione maintains his innocence and has pled not guilty.
So this is a whodunit trial, pointing the finger at someone very specific. Let's bring back in our think tank, Philip Dubay, Ian Freeman, Bernarda Villalona. All right, Bernarda, it seems prosecutors know where the defense is going to go here. It was someone else who did it, someone who committed a subsequent shooting. Do prosecutors have to go through the fact that they investigated this person?
Oh, absolutely. They have to show to this jury how they got to this defendant and why they got to the defendant and what led them to this defendant. But also doing the investigation if they actually looked at anyone else and why they were able to rule them out, and that the only person that this investigation led to was the person that's on trial in front of them.
Philip, how big of a role do you think the subsequent shooting plays in the trial of Brandon Castiglione?
Is huge because it points the finger directly at what we call third-party culpability. Anytime you can divert attention away from a defendant on trial to somebody else who has motive, means, and opportunity, that's called reasonable doubt in the law. What I want to know is, what do they have on Brandon? Do they have a statement? Do they have digital data? Do they have DNA or some other type of biological evidence? I would assume they have more. They wouldn't go forward with just flimsy evidence.
And Ian, for the defense, how do you know when to point the finger specifically at someone else? Like, what do you need to do that? Because if you point somewhere else and the evidence isn't there, I got to think that it comes back right onto your guy.
It comes right back to your guy, and the lawyer obviously on behalf of the client, their credibility is going to be gone. You can't just simply, and jurors kind of expect that, right? They think we're looking smoke and mirrors and so forth. If you're going to go down that route, or any defense, you have to have something that supports it. The defense would be foolish, and I really doubt they will, start making points and saying, you know, it was the deceased stepson who did it, if they know that there's going to be evidence coming in to show that he was elsewhere. He's on video at a party on the other side of town. So in order for them to make this defense and put that reasonable doubt in there, they have to make sure that the prosecution's not going to be able to come back and rebut that and say, yeah, nice try, but here he was somewhere else. So that's what they have to do. If they're going to go that way, they really have to make sure that it is a clear presentation. Otherwise, the jury's just going to, shut their eyes on this one.
Bernard, do you think anyone's going to call Dale Holloway to the stand?
Well, if anyone's going to call Dale Holloway, it would be the prosecution, but that's not going to happen because you're going to hear about him, yes, from the defense, but there's no way that the defense is going to call him.
What do you think, Philip? Would you send him a subpoena? Shake things up a little bit?
Of course. You know what I would love? I would love to see him take the fifth right in front of the jury. You take the fifth right there, it gives the illusion or the impression to the jury that he's got something to hide, that he's got some involvement and complicity. It remains to be seen. But yes, of course I would.
Ian, how do you get to that decision?
Yeah, I don't know in this case if I necessarily want to call him. In theory, yes. But I could see this psychologically with the stepson saying, yeah, absolutely. He went and took a shot at the wedding in retaliation for it. He may want nothing more than to get up there and secure the shooter of his stepfather by saying, I had nothing to do with that. And he can deal with his own defense of the church. It's wholly separate. So that's one of those things you may want to be careful what you ask for. You put him up there and he may absolutely sink it and say, it wasn't me, of course it was him. And he may then be able to say, and we know it wasn't me because I was over here or I was over there. And the defense is then going to be sitting there kind of shaking his head, wishing it hadn't done that.
Yeah. How about Castiglione? Bernardo, you think there's any chance he takes the stand?
No, not at all. His best bet when you're trying to say that it was someone else is not to testify.
Yeah, I'm looking at the mugshot. Don't know the guy. We'll get to know him here on Court TV. This case is beginning next week. Take a look. Jury selection, Monday, May 8th. So Monday, big day, jury being selected in this case. Things wrapping up in the Daybell case and the jury deliberating in the Stout case. Keep it right here on your front row seat to justice, folks.